Al and I are like barely making it today because
barely functioning.
Yeah. Barely functioning. We're on the struggle bus right now because yesterday it was 108 degrees in Los Angeles, which is about 10 to 12 degrees hotter than I think the average person like can handle. It was.
I think it actually got higher than that. I saw at some points at like 114. Holy crap, it was hot.
Yeah, out in the valley. No, I mean, it literally is hotter than Satan's taint in Los Angeles right now. It is disgustingly hot. I hate it. And then I was like, I tried to walk yesterday. I was trying to like work out outside. And well, first of all, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Did you know that Mexican people, like the term for boobs is chichis? Did you know that?
I didn't know that, yes.
Oh my, okay, I just found out, and now I'm like, I'm never referring to my boobs as anything else other than chichis.
I don't like nicknames for boobs. Can I say that? I don't like melons or anything like that, or you say a lot girls. I just like the fashion. Let's call them breasts. Let's call them boobs, you know?
Breasts?
Breasts, tits, boobs. I think that's the farthest I go.
Breasts is like so clinical for me. Like that's too like my breasts. Like that's weird. I can't. That's like my bosom. Like what is this? The 1600s? I'm not calling it my bosom. Like who does that? That's so weird. I can't. But I understand. I know what you mean. Like the nicknames do get too far. But I feel like chichis, like that is so like I don't know. I just love it. Like
have you ever dated a guy that nicknamed their dick? Because guys do that sometimes. I don't.
Oh,
but some
God.
guys do.
No, none of the guys that I've ever dated, because I don't think I would put up with that for very long. That's like, ugh, like, and you know, like I always say, like I like dirty talk, but don't fucking, naming your dick. That's too much for me. That's like what is it? Is it like because are we trying to be like endearing? Like, no. It's supposed to be like sexy, and like I've never had like a sexy nickname for someone. Like that's
the weird thing is it's usually just a normal name. It's just like Fred or Pete.
Oh yeah, no. Do you have a nickname for you? Is that why you're saying it? Is this like
no? I don't, but I know a lot of guys that do, and their balls too.
And their balls. Well, actually, I was thinking about balls today because I was like, I feel like boobs are to women what balls are to guys, like in some strange fashion. Like I feel like
there's two of them and they're circular.
Yeah, and also just like I feel like when you like guys, it's like, oh, like he has big balls. Like you say that about somebody when they have like when they're confident and they like are dominant and whatever. And I feel like that's how I feel about my boobs. Like I assert my dominance with my boobs, like guys assert their dominance with their balls. My chichis, as I'm supposed to call them from now on. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like there's like a weird like correlation there. I can't really describe it, but I feel like the guy with the big balls is like equivalent to the girl with the big boobs, right?
No.
No. Okay.
You know, like I feel like big balls is such a metaphorical term. I feel like there's no guy that actually cares about the size of their balls. I could be wrong about that, but I haven't met a guy that's like worried. Dicks are a different story, but the actual balls, are you attracted to a guy with big balls? That feels weird to me.
No, I mean, like, I like not like in particular. Like, I wouldn't. No, like that doesn't do anything for me. You're right. I guess it's more of like a metaphorical thing than like a physical thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure there are some women that do like big balls on a guy. I haven't met that girl yet.
Right. No, I mean, like they're just there. You know, like I don't hate them like I once did. Like I feel like when you first start exploring the male anatomy, like balls are low on the list of things that you're excited about. Like it's more or less like you're like, oh, what the fuck? Is it like a skin tag? Like what's going on down there? Like it's not when you're a woman.
I mean, it's gross. I mean, there's sweat, there's hair. I mean, no one can really get it spotless. That doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, and it's also just like it's just like a wrinkly little sack. Like it's nothing really exciting. And then I think that like you grow into loving the balls. Like it's like a like a pug. Like it's ugly, but you grow to love it. That's how I feel about balls. Like that's, you learn to love them over time. I should really teach like a high school sex ed class. Could you imagine?
You should. You really should.
Oh my God, I get kicked out in like 2 days. I would.
Well,
not
we could do a YouTube channel and market it to teenagers.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to go. So I don't get fired from anything.
I like that.
But speaking of like balls and boobs, like both of those things are things that sweat
Mm-hmm.
when it's super hot out. Like like
You know what? I didn't want it because I'm a producer. I can't talk about these things with you personally, but on the show I can. I was worried about you. You're talking about how hot it is. I'd imagine breasts are very uncomfortable when it's hot.
Oh, yeah. No, for real. And I like, you know me, I don't like to be caught like looking shitty. So like the boob sweat thing is like a hard thing to deal with. But I mean, like the flip side is like when you're like moving weight like I am, like when you have double D's, you know, you're going to sweat. There's going to be sweat. There's no way around that.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
So,
just like our balls.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, yeah, the sweating thing is always like a struggle. I remember one time too, I was out at that place, Dos Caminos in Manhattan. Have you ever been there? There's like a few different spots.
No, I've heard about it, but never been there.
I went out with a girlfriend. It was like a really hot night, and I was wearing this like halter top, and I wasn't wearing a bra. Like I like to free ball it every so often. See, another reference. So I like to free ball it. And it was so hot that night that I remember I'm standing in the bar and all of a sudden I can feel it. And I look down and it's like noticeable boob sweat. I look like a snowman. Like I had two little dark spots under my boobs. So I flipped out. I like run down to the bathroom, and it's like the typical like drunk girl bathroom story where like other chicks saw me like trying to stand under the hair dryer. I'm trying to like blot them dry, and they're like, "Oh my god, what can we do?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I didn't know. And like
why are you so embarrassed about boob sweat? It's so natural.
Oh my god, no, Al. That is not natural to be like walking around with like two huge sweat stains under your chi-chis. Like I was
yes,
like, okay.
They understand. It's not an armpit. An armpit's gross. Boob sweat is completely fine.
I don't know. I still was like not having it. And then finally like I got them to dry, and I literally had to put like a little like napkin under each one, and that saved me for the rest of the night. Can you imagine? They probably would have thought I was like, if I like went home with a guy, he probably would have thought I was like stuffing. I was like trying to like stuff my bra.
You know what they got to make? Because they have these things called Thompson tees for men. Mm-hmm. This isn't a sponsor, but they have little like sponges by the armpits. They got to do that with women and breasts.
Oh my god! Yes, yes. Well, I guess in a way, your bra kind of does act like that. Like in this particular case, I made a game time decision, like I said, to free ball it, and clearly it was the wrong one because it was like fucking Niagara Falls under there with the sweat. It's so disgusting. But yeah, that's definitely something that we chicks with the big boobs have to go through. And they're also just heavy. Like I was walking up in the hills. Like that's like my new thing. So I was like power walking up these steep hills, and I'm like, oh my God, I felt like I had like two like, you know, like butterball turkeys strapped to my chest, like in the desert, hiking up the mountain. Like I couldn't breathe. And like, yeah, the twins were like suffocating me. They were suffocating me. So, you know, I don't really know how you fix that. I don't know if
I feel that way about my butt. I have a giant butt. I'm sure you're aware. And sometimes I'm like, wow, this thing's pretty heavy.
Yeah, like that's so funny. Yeah, Al has a Kim Kardashian ass for anybody who hasn't seen him.
I do. I'm Puerto Rican, and you know, it's genetics.
Yes, see, it is the Puerto Rican thing. God bless. God bless. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that's like when you have like a little extraness, like I envy really thin people in the heat. Cause I'm like, you don't really have to move a lot around, you know, like when you're like, you know, even if you're not like, oh, it's like, oh, I'm fat. Like, it's like, even if you have big boobs, you have a big ass, like you got extra weight to carry. It's not easy.
Yeah. But you need to just, you know, come to peace with sweat. Sweat's going to happen. You know, gotta embrace it.
I know.
You gotta live in it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. I always think about, because I keep having these dreams that I like have a baby, that I had a baby. And I always think like, okay, like my boobs are already huge. Can you imagine when there's milk inside them? I mean,
you know, you might lose shape though. That does happen.
Oh, well, that won't then that won't be breastfeeding. Sorry, kid. He's going to have to go on like the Carnation. He's not ruining my boobs. I'll have to be on the Carnation instant breakfast because he's not misshaping my boobs. But yeah, can you imagine like the milk? Like if I'm engorged with milk, if I stand up, I'll fall over. I'll be like top heavy. It's like those, yeah, I can't even, like, remember like those kid toys, like the Weebles, wobble, but they don't fold down. Like, I feel like that would be me if I got up, if I was pregnant and I was lactating.
But you would fold down.
Yeah. Or even like, you're right, if they get misshapen and then they're like long and shit. Like, first of all, one, I don't want that. But two, then they really could suffocate me, you know? Like, if I shift in my sleep and then my boob covers my mouth, I could suffocate. I could die.
I could see that. Yeah, it's possible.
Or I could knock myself out while I'm running.
You're dreaming about having a kid. Do you want a kid? Is this something that you've been thinking about?
I do, but like not right now. Like, I'm not ready for one right now, but I think I want a kid. Yeah. I think, why not? Why not? I need to leave like a legacy behind, It's not fair that like all the fun dies with me. So I feel like I have to have a kid so the fun carries on.
Do you think you're going to take your husband's last name, or are you keeping the Hunter?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I don't know.
Or maybe hyphenated.
I mean, I think Bri Hunter is like such a great name. Like, so many people who want to get into entertainment have to change their name because their name is like Topanga, like, Immaculata or some crazy shit, and like you're like, okay,
Archibald,
that can't like work in Hollywood. So I feel like I have like a great name, and then it's like if I make a name for myself as Bri Hunter, I'm like inclined to keep it. But
Hunter's a great name. That sounds like a made up name.
Yeah, it does. People used to tell me I had a porn name. They're like, oh, you have a porn star name, and I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, Bri Hunter.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
or like a superhero's name. You know how like a superhero's name is like kind of badass before they even like, give themselves a name. Like
right.
Their actual real name's kind of badass. I feel like it's like a Clark Kent type name.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I feel like I'll keep it, but I don't want my husband to feel like shitty. So then that's when I'm gonna get his name tattooed above my vagina. So
You're set on that, huh?
I just feel like it's a nice thing to do. Especially if I'm not gonna take my husband's last name, I'm obviously gonna get it tattooed above my vagina. Like, that's the right thing to do at that point.
His family name, not his first name.
Whatever he wants. Like, I'll even get his family crest. Like, if he's Scottish or some shit, like, I'll get the family crest up there. Like, whatever he wants. I don't care.
Do not get a family crest on top of your vagina. I won't allow that.
Well, and then imagine if we get like divorced. Like, then what am I gonna do? I have this crest that's not even mine. It's like a whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. But I would change if it was like a huge deal to my husband. Like, he was like, I really want you to take I would change it. I would do that for love, but I would bitch about it the whole time. So.
Well, to me, if you're able to change your last name, he's got to be okay with changing his last name. You got to flip the script on him.
Be like, why don't you take my last name? No.
Yeah.
I'm like weirdly traditional in certain ways. Like, I'm not, obviously, in a lot of ways. But then there are things like about like traditional like mother, father, or like husband, wife roles that wouldn't bother me. Like, I want to take care of someone.
Are you going classic wedding?
What does classic mean? Like,
okay, first of all, are you doing church?
Oh, no. If I walk into a church, I'm pretty sure I'll burst into flames. So no, I don't.
Okay, what about like white dress?
Yeah, white dress. Yes.
Okay, and then just normal, like, one family's on one side, other family's on one side type thing. Groomsmen, bridesmaid type thing. You're all set with that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really care. Like, I think we talked about this before. Like, I just want people to have fun at my wedding. So I don't want there to be like a ton of rules. Like, there are 3 things that are going to matter at my wedding. And first and foremost will be like, do I look good? The second one is, am I happy? And the third is everybody else happy? So it goes in those orders. Like, do I look good? Am I happy? And then, is everybody else happy and having fun? Those are the only 3 things I really care about. Like, I don't care who sits where. I don't care about like, I mean, people are like, I wouldn't even really care if somebody wore white to my wedding, because I know that my dress and I will look so good that nobody could possibly upstage me.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's a crazy thing to me, that women get upset that other people are wearing white. That's nuts.
Yeah, I just wouldn't mind, because I'm just like, your goal as the bride should be like, even if everybody wore white, you look so goddamn good that you're still the first one that everybody notices in the room.
All right, so one last question. I think I know the answer to this, and I think there's only one answer, but are you doing DJ or band?
Oof, that's tough because I like so many different kinds of music. I feel like it has to be DJ, but like I feel like when most people go to like weddings, they do like a band, right? I feel like most people prefer a band.
These days, everyone's doing DJs, and I'm a band guy. To me, you gotta go wedding band. It's just more fun, more exciting,
Right.
you know. But people are doing DJs for that reason, like you said. You know, you get the music everybody wants. I get it, but to me, you gotta go band.
I want to have someone do like a performance. Like I want to have a DJ, but then I also want to have like an illusion. Like I want David Blaine to come and like hang from the rafters and like do some crazy shit or swallow a mouse at my wedding because that people they're gonna remember that wedding, you know.
I want like a cheesy like '80s hair metal cover band.
Oh, that I love. That's cool. Like that I would do.
Love that idea. That's to me. That's what weddings are about.
I also like I don't care if anybody gets drunk at my wedding. Like I want people to have fun. Like I want something crazy to happen so like it's memorable. Like, you know, I don't want like I know some people like they tell their like you know like they want to tell their groomsmen or their bridesmaids like they want to tell them how to wear their hair and their makeup and you know don't take off your shoes and you know and don't take off your suit jacket and I'm like fuck that shit. If you have a friend who makes you do that, newsflash, get a new friend. Because not only are they fucking boring, but they're a terrible friend. I would never tell people. I would be like, have fun. Like, we'll take our pictures, and then I don't care if you walk around in your boxers. Like, really, I don't. Like, that's how I am. So, I just, sorry, like, as usual, I'm, like, pounding my Jameson. Is it true that whiskey makes you hotter?
Yes, that's what it... Wait, no, it's the opposite, isn't it? It makes you colder?
I always thought that like whiskey makes you warm. So like people are like, oh, like have a glass of whiskey.
It's supposed to give you the illusion of warmth, but I think your body drops in temperature. I could be wrong.
This is like TMI, and I'm honestly not even like half in the bag, but I've noticed that like when I drink whiskey, like my vagina gets warm.
Wow.
Which I don't think you can relate to. But
I can't. No, you know it's a it's a weird quirk with me. Anytime I have hard liquor, I got to use the bathroom immediately.
Well, okay, that's normal. This is not that. This is not like oh I have to go. It's like
that's normal. I never met another person that's like that.
What if you have to go to the bathroom after drinking?
Like immediately, like first drink, I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you got to break the seal right away. No,
yes,
yeah,
and
that's
a problem,
not normal. Like that's you got to.
The only time I ever
bit.
drink is at comedy clubs. So right when I'm sipping, I gotta go. I gotta use the bathroom already.
Oh no. I come from like a long line of alcoholics and partiers, so I'm like I can hold it for a while. Like I can really throw them back before I got to go to the bathroom. But no, I mean that's not super weird. I feel like people have to go to the bathroom when they drink. Like again, I don't know if people's vagina starts to feel like warm and wet. It's like I drink 2 shots. Like you know how like okay, like people say drink so it helps you loosen up. I feel like my vagina takes that as a direct order. Like as soon as I start drinking, like it's like a little bit wet. It's sorry TMI. It's a little bit wet. It's a little bit warm, and it's like I'm ready to go. Like it is like yeah. It's like yes, like we're part of the party too. Like let's go.
Well, that's inconvenient in these times where it's so fucking hot in LA.
Oh, I know. It's like, but yeah, I don't know. It could be like the dead of winter, and my vagina is like, oh, is it party time? Like, I just think it.
Well, that's
thinks
convenient.
That's what it means.
It's convenient in the winter, not so convenient in the summer.
No. We're like coming up on 20 minutes here, so I don't want to be too much longer. But speaking of staying warm, and then also like my alcoholic genes, did I ever tell you that I had my DNA tested?
I think you did. I think that was the end of it. I don't think you went further.
Yeah, so I had my DNA tested, and my grandfather, my dad's dad, was always like the outlier because he always said he was Scottish, but he didn't look like he looked like Arabic or something. Like it didn't really fit the Scottish bill. So I had my DNA tested, and it turns out like he's from like North Caucasus, which is like it could be anything like Georgia, Azerbaijan. I don't even know. See, I think like Kazakhstan.
Interesting.
But
I see a little like Middle Eastern in you. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for recognizing. But someone also pointed out to me, they're like, oh, you could be Chechen, which is like a southern part of Russia. Like Chechens don't consider themselves Russian. Like my friend on Instagram recently taught me this, but they were conquered by Russia. But really, it's like a Muslim country. So really, they're like sort of they're North Caucasus. They're mountain people. Like I guess you could say they're technically Middle Eastern. But I looked at them, like pictures of them, and I'm like, oh yeah, my brother and I kind of fit this bill. So now I'm going to tell everybody that I'm like a distant cousin of Khabib, like the UFC fighter. I'm just going to be like, yeah, we're actually cousins on my father's side.
I mean, it's possible. You could not be lying. It's a possibility.
Right. And it would explain the aggression and perhaps like on the Russian side, the drinking. Like it would explain certain characteristics of my family. I'm like, oh, yeah, that kind of tracks. But yeah, who knew, man?
Rocky
I gotta
4
get
is your
one of the
favorite
hats.
Rocky?
Yeah, Rocky. Yeah. You mean Drago?
Rocky 4 is your favorite Rocky, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, just because I like Drago, so it's like the...
Yeah, I'm saying it makes sense. It's the best Rocky. I'm agreeing with you here.
Absolutely. No, I think so. And I also like the hats. Have you ever seen like the fur hats?
Oh, of course. My dad would wear them all the time for some reason.
You know what? Sorry, like the last parting note, and then we'll end. The best New Year's Eve I ever had, at the time I was with my now ex-boyfriend, and we went to his best friend's family's house. Like they're Russian. They're like Russian Jews. It was the best New Year's Eve I've ever had in my life. Nobody knows how to party like Russian people. There was like a ton of food, like the best food I've ever had. Things I was like, it was like things I never thought I would eat. It was like smelts and stuff, but it was delicious. The liquor was flowing from like the minute we got there until we left. And then his parents had to be like in their 50s. And at like 4:30 in the morning, my boyfriend and I are like, all right, we got to go. And they're like, go, like the party's just getting started. And I'm like, what? Like they outdid me, which is like a lot. At 4:30 in the morning, they wanted to keep going. So if anybody ever has the opportunity to party with Russians on, New Year's Eve or really any day of the week, absolutely take them up on it. It's the most fun you'll ever have, I promise. So unless
I love vodka. I'm not a fan of white Russians. I don't like the milk.
No, yeah, I don't drink vodka either. And that was funny because I said that to them and I was like a little bit nervous. And they were like, oh, what do you drink? And I'm like, tequila. And they're like, say no more. And they had like 14 vats of tequila.
There we go.
I wanted to ask them if I could move in. I'm like, there's no better place than this household right now. Food, booze, and a good time. I mean, what more do you want? So I'm down with the Russians for sure. Any parting thoughts before we wrap it up?
I want to let the people know at home that Bri took care of my little chihuahua when I went to New York last week, and she did a wonderful job. So anyone at home, if you need someone to take care of your dog, she's the person. Oh no!
Well, let's not go that far. But like I don't think I'm quite there yet. But yes, I took care of Flash, and we survived. I don't think he liked me. Al says he did, but it was good practice.
Flash doesn't like anyone. It's not your fault.
Yeah. I thought he would have been a fan of the cheat cheese, but he was not. So
nope.
Can't win them all. All right. Well, I think that's it for me. That's it from us here in Satan's Taint, aka Los Angeles. But until next time, guys, everybody stay cool. We love you. The twins, the Chi-Chi's, Al, and I love you.